Hello everyone. I'm so pleased to announce the start of my YouTube channel for life coaching. I wanted to get on today to just talk to you about what life coaching is all about and how I do life coaching, because it probably is a little different to other people. And I want to explain why I do it the way I do. When I started up life coaching some years ago, I guess I wasn't really understanding that perhaps I wasn't in the right place to lead others. And even though it was quite successful, it wasn't something that I was really passionate about doing. And I think because of the inconsistency of it, I moved back into another role. So I want to give you a little bit of background about myself so you understand where I'm coming from, and then I will talk to you about life coaching. So this channel is going to be it's not going to be about readings. You can get readings from me on the YouTube channel, The Aussie Goddess, and I will still continue to do the work I do because I love the mediumship, the tarot reading, the psychic work. Of course, that will never go. But the life coaching is something for me that I've become very, very passionate about, especially since I launched my career as a psychic medium. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about my life without getting into too much detail or getting into deep and dirty, as you might think. But I basically started my journey probably about my mid-30s. I'd had, by that time, 3 children. I now have 7.5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandson. So I've had sort of a fairly hectic family life, and around about mid-30s I started to suffer really badly with anxiety, panic attacks, and it really brought me to my knees. I got very, very unwell. I became very thin, and it really sort of started me on the journey of changing my life. So I realise now that mid-30s is very often, in astrology, a time when you do make these life reviews. So my life has worked on a 9 pattern. I'm a 9 life number, and it's worked on a 9 pattern, so I can always see where big changes have occurred. And of course 36 was when all this happened. I started to pick up a career. Up until that point, I'd worked in retail, hospitality. I'd worked since I was 14 years old, so I'd always sort of enjoyed having money. I'm a Capricorn, and I started that journey of earning. My first marriage had broken down fairly young, so I was already a single parent, and I'd sort of moved into a time where I realised I'd been dedicating everything to my family, but hadn't really thought about what I wanted to do. Now, at that time, I'd been doing tarot readings for myself and just close people, and I'd been doing that since I was quite young. I'd started picking up a normal card deck, probably in my teens, and started to be able to read from a normal tarot deck, but didn't really understand why that was, but I went with that. I'd had readings, I'd even got into religion, done a lot of Bible study, really starting to understand my own spirituality. So by the time I got to my mid-30s, I was tarot reading all the time. I was really interested in the esoteric arts, but never thought of it as a career. It was more I guess, a fun thing for me. And I'd get lots of messages from spirit. I'd seen ghosts as a child. My family hadn't been very supportive of that, so it hadn't gone down well when I'd said or done things, and I sleptwalked a lot. So anyway, so I'd sort of at mid-30s, I started to work up a career, and after doing youth work, working with homeless kids, working with kids, street kids, that come from pretty harsh families, I went on to work in a number of government and non-government departments, and also took up some university learning, and got degrees during that time. So I became very conscious of my career. I became very career-minded and worked my way through up into the level of operations, which I loved doing, and I loved working with people and coaching people still maintained, or was still being maintained through that process. So obviously that was more work-oriented, but I loved seeing people succeed at what they did. And I've always done that all the way through my career. So it's always been a passion for me. When I started the YouTube channel up a couple of years ago, I had been told by Spirit that I would change, expand, and move into different areas as I move forward. And I've trusted that energy. I must say 2 years ago, before I started the channel, though, I wasn't fully trusting. So it was a bit of a sort of go backwards and forwards thing. And eventually I got frightened and went back and got another job. So the last 2 years I've been working, and I've just recently now given up my job, trusting completely in the universe to move me in this direction. I started the YouTube channel up to do the readings because it is something I love to do, and I've been very encouraged by Spirit to work on the psychic work. But when I first started working on the psychic work, I was really fascinated by the number of people who came to me for readings who had been through very, very similar journeys to my own, whether that was through childhood, through their upbringing, and from the twin flame journey. So it had been a very enlightening time for me, watching people struggle with their own demons. You know, after doing 2 years of readings on YouTube, a few months ago, Spirit said to me that I needed to learn. There was something I'd done in my past that I needed to go back to, because now was the time to do it. And I kept thinking, what is it? I don't quite know what it is, but you need to show me, because when I do this, I need to know that I'm on the right track for my life path. And Spirit showed me the life coaching and talked to me about all the people that have been coming through and how their life paths were very similar, because my work here was to share with you my journey in terms of relationship, childhood, and my own learnings along the way to come around to where I am now. Am I completely healed? I don't know if we ever become completely healed, but I understand the journey now. And I do understand how the healing takes place and what sort of healing will help you on your journey. So with the life coaching here, I'm not just using, I am a certified life coach, and somebody said to me once, put all your certificates on YouTube or whatever, and I was like, I don't need to do that. If you want to see a certificate, let me know, and I'm quite happy to send you an email or a photograph of anything that you want to know about me in terms of certification. So the journey I'm taking people on at the moment is a journey that's not only mixed with my own experiences and my own learnings along the way. And don't forget, I've researched, I've worked really hard. I'm a very dedicated person. Once I'm, got something to do, I want to learn all I can and really absorb that. So I have done a lot of research. I've obviously done a lot of study. I understand the human condition from the internal perspective as well as the external. That means I understand what happens for somebody inside as well as outside of them. So I know about how people formulate their lives from the things they've learned along the way and the core beliefs and all of those things I understand. So my coaching, I guess, is a mix of the spirituality, my own experience and learnings, plus the qualifications and experiences I've had in my 3D job. So what I'm bringing is a mixture of the 3D and the 5D to you. Now, my intention with this channel, because I will still do the life coaching programs, I'll talk about those in a moment, but my intention on this journey is to help you see how to move forward. So if you've been stuck, you're recovering from a relationship or a very difficult or toxic relationship and having trouble getting back on board. If you are having trouble understanding your own cycles and patterns and want to work towards opening yourself up a little bit more so you can have a healthy relationship, if you want to just understand what your life path is and you want to understand how to move towards that happiness from your work that you want to have, whatever it is for you, I am going to start doing these programs on a regular basis. At the moment, I've been offering the life coaching program for 6 sessions at $50 Australian per session, which equates to about $300. Now, with my experience, my learning and the things I've done, I probably could be charging that much for an hour. But as much as I think the money is really important, in this regard, it's very important that I do what I know that I'm here to do. And my I guess my direction in life is to teach people not only how to love themselves, but how to bring people into their lives that truly love them back again. And love is what I'm here for. So this is very much a journey here where I've been offering a very sort of streamlined 6-week program. And for those people who've joined the life coaching, and I've got quite a lot of them already, they are already giving me beautiful feedback about the way they're learning to work with what they're learning from the program. So I'm extremely satisfied now that Spirit has shown me that this is the direction I need to follow alongside my psychic medium career. So I'm going to now, because I've got quite a lot of people now within the program, I'm going to start offering the program a little bit later on, and it still will be at very reasonable rates. I'm not here to not help people. Obviously, I'm here to make money. I'm like everybody else. I have to have an income. I can't just do everything from the goodness of my own heart. That would be unreasonable, and certainly Spirit wouldn't support me in that. But what I want to do is still keep the costs of it fairly low, regardless. So that everybody can afford to do that. So I guess at the end of the day, the prices may have to increase going forward because of the fact I'm still earning less from those than what I am from the psychic readings. But I want to do both. So I'm still going to offer the coaching program at the reduced price. I said to myself to start with, once I reach 20 people, I would cut that off. But because of the demand of it, I've actually extended to 30, and I have about another 5 places left. And then I will move to putting people on a waiting list, and I will start to work with them as I go. The sort of things that I'm teaching within the life coaching program are things like how to work with your emotions, how to work with your triggers, how to understand the narcissist codependence journey, how to understand your codependency and the limitations that brings you, how to work with your inner child, your family issues, going back, learning about your core beliefs, your limitations, your perhaps, poverty consciousness, lack mentality. All of those things are what I do for each person at a very individual level. So not all of those things will be something you're experiencing. So when I start the program, the first session we do is about planning. So I get to know you a little bit. I listen to what you're saying to me. I use all those skills to glean what it is you need from me to help you forward. I've already started putting together a lot of resources. And I try to provide you with those resources to work through each week until your next session. I'm trying to do the sessions on Zoom so we can have face-to-face readings. If you are anywhere other than Australia, that sometimes means a little bit of going to and from to make sure we get the timing when you can do it, but at the same time as much as possible each week. Why is that? Number one, because you know what to expect, you know where you're working to, but consistency and 6 sessions at a minimum are the sort of things that help you to change habits. I do have people who have continued on. They don't feel that they're right where they need to be at 6 weeks, and that's okay too. You can tell me when you're ready to go off. Some people with coaching will go off for a while and come back a bit later when they felt that they've sort of integrated those life lessons. So what to expect? If you write to me and say you're interested in life coaching, I will first ask where you're based. What are your time restrictions? For example, do you have children in school? Do you have a job you need to attend to? Because we need to put the appointments where both of us can fit them in. I will send you either at request. If you are in Australia, I can send you bank details. If you are overseas, I do most things by PayPal. So you'll either receive a PayPal invoice every week that needs to be paid before your appointment, or you can do what a lot of people choose to do and just pay for 6 sessions up front. Once both of those things are done, I will send you a link to Zoom or a link to wherever we're going to do those. So if you do not have access to a computer, you might prefer to do them by another medium. but I do ask that you consider to have face-to-face so I can sort of talk to you like we're sitting across the room from each other. I allow you time during sessions to debrief from your last week. We talk about things you've done well, things that you could have done differently, but I'll start to work on all of those things with you. As much as I'm not a clinical psychologist, I do know a lot around the journey of with CPTSD and with panic disorder and some of the other things that may be part of your journey. And some people are, still going through depression, for example. I'm sensitive to those things. I will always recommend that you follow your doctor's orders. You do what you need to do from a healthy perspective. And I'm not here to disrupt that. What I'm here to do is to work with you so that you can achieve greater things by having the additional support. I do not stand in the way of your counsellor or your medical professional. My work is spiritual. It's about helping you to understand your spiritual journey more so than the practical one. Your doctor and your counsellor are extremely good for working through that, whether it's medication, talking to you about what you're experiencing. So it's sort of a bit more holistic for most of you to have that additional support. What else can I say? I feel if you need to ask me questions, it's a really good idea. You can email me at the Aussie Goddess at gmail.com. You can email me through my webpage at www.theaussiegoddess.com. And you can certainly check always underneath my videos on the Aussie Goddess with all my contact details. But I do ask that if you're going to email me that you ask any questions, because I don't want you going ahead with something if it's not right for you at the moment. And if it's not right, that's okay too. So just remember, the Aussie Goddess YouTube page is strictly for readings, tarot. I'm going to keep all the life coaching program stuff on this site. So keep your eye out. I will try to get on at least once a week and do a talk around something in particular. And help you support your journey as well. So the talks I have on here might help you sort of to look at one aspect, but you may need to have other things to really get you going. So that is up to you. You know what works for you. I'm a strong encourager of saying to you, you lead this. I don't lead this. So if you're interested, yes, please contact me. If you're in Australia, I do have phone contact details. I'm happy to be contacted by phone as well. Any questions you have, please put them below. At the moment, if you're after a life coaching program, I can probably, start that up pretty much straight away, so it's not a problem. But if it gets a little bit more like I'm thinking it's going to be, when I've had a lot of people interested in the first couple of weeks, it may be a little bit of, oh, excuse me. It may be a little wait time. So, but if you want to be put on the wait list for the next ones coming around, I currently have probably about 4 or 5 vacancies. Now I've extended to 30. If you want to still be put on a wait list for next time, if you are currently thinking about it, want to talk about it first and then think about it later, that's okay too. I'm leaving it completely up to you. All right, I will be posting this shortly and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.